Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're looking at the Black Rifle Arms C.A.P.S upper receiver. C.A.P.S stands for Captive Adaptive Piston System. Now, I first noticed this company when I was doing my review on bolt carrier groups. I saw something rather interesting. It was a bolt carrier with a polymer buffer at the end. And it looked rather interesting because I'd never seen anything like it. So I contacted Black Rifle Arms and asked about it. And they told me this was designed for their C.A.P.S system or their piston system. And what it was designed for was to eliminate all the problems with carrier tilt by having a polymer buffer on here. If it goes down on an angle, which you get from the carrier tilt from it striking down like this, the polymer does not damage the receiver extension. And it also is self-lubricating, and it also dampens the blast to the back of the receiver extension, so it corrects the issues along with that. So then he asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at his upper receiver. And absolutely, I'm always looking for new products. There's several different options out there right now. If you decide you want an external piston, you have the Adams Arms, you have Osprey, and then of course you have many manufacturers who are making them, including SIG, Caracal, Colt used to. So I want to see what was different about this system here. It was set to me as a complete upper receiver. The lower receiver is one of my spare lowers that I use for testing. It's Aero Precision. Basically, it's got the Voltor mod stock kit on it, my pistol grip, and it's a DPMS lower receiver parts kit. And I obviously, because I'm using it for an external piston, I'm putting an H2 buffer in it. That's something that you want to put with those. So looking at this upper receiver, basically what we have is a 16-inch chromoly vanadium barrel. 1 9-inch twist. It's nitrided inside and out. I had put a muzzle brake on so I could use my Saker 5.56 flash suppressor. Now, getting into the system itself, there's a few things that make this thing very, very different. First off is the way that you adjust. You have a full 360 rotation of 4 different settings. You have a normal, you have a suppressed, you have a light, and an ultralight load. So basically you're allowing more gas in to operate lower power ammunition. Now with using this gas block here, you open it up to some of the highest settings, high or the ultra high setting, you're able to use even the lightest powered Wolf type ammunition, and it works reliably. But getting back to the system itself, you have a system where you pull outward and you rotate, and you have a ratchet system. It goes 360. Now the benefit to that is if you look at most piston systems that are out there, by rotating it to a third or a fourth position, it unlocks the system so you can pull it out the front. For instance, if you look at the SIG system, you push in a plunger, you rotate all the way 360, and that's how you remove it. Or also some of the other ones where you would use some other kind of a detent, or you just have a paddle type. So that makes it very different. So you have 4 positions. Again, you have standard, you have suppressed, and you have 2 ultra-high settings, a high and an ultra-high, which are for use with low-powered ammunition or in extremely dirty conditions. Now, it's not uncommon for somebody to adjust these things and to have that system pop out because you hit that the setting for removal. That does not happen with this one at all. Now, also, if you want to set this so you have no gas at all, so you want basically to be a single shot, you just go in between the 2 settings. Now, you do not need any tools to rotate this. Now, some of these other ones, because the carbon that builds up and the way that the gas valve rotates, it can get carbon froze to the point where you have to use some kind of a tool to adjust it. That doesn't happen with this. Now, it can get a little bit stiff to remove, but you'll be able to rotate this by hand. You also have an audible click, so you'll be able to know when it adjusts. So that's definitely a major benefit. And the next benefit to it is the carrier. Now, as we previously looked at the buffer on the rear, you do have some skis on the bottom here to assist with carrier tilt. And again, when the piston strikes the top, hits it down, by having this being polymer, you're not going to damage the inside of the receiver extension. So this is also a little bit larger too, so it keeps it centered. So that was another benefit to it as well. Now this is all made in-house by Black Rifle Arms. Now these are adjustable as well. You can have ones that are a little bit larger, a little bit smaller, depending on your receiver extension tolerances. This one here is pretty snug inside this one here. However, if I were to put this one in, this one's a lot looser, so there are some different diameters available for this as well. According to their testing, they've never wore one of these out. They've had thousands and thousands of rounds through them. Now, to remove this, basically all you're going to do is you're going to stick a cleaning rod in the carrier and hit it on the edge, and this will knock right out. And then you install it. You just set a firing pin on top of here to align, and then just tap this right back into place. So this has definitely been an improvement. Now we're going to take a look at the gas system. So for disassembly, we use a locking pin. We're going to pull inward on the pin, and that's going to pop right out. So there's your pin, and here's your system. Now, so far as a conventional piston system is concerned, they're basically all the same. What really sets this one apart here is the way that you adjust it. So you have your operating rod, your piston, and you have your gas valve. And as you can see, where the locking pin locks it in place, and you can see we can rotate with no issues. As you can see, the gas block has set screws. Now, this is the one complaint, or not complaint, but a criticism that I did give Charles over Black Rifle Arms, is I believe that this should always be drilled and pinned in place, especially with an external piston, because you do have a piece moving back and forth in there. He said he's never had any issues, but he'll definitely consider it. This is the Troy Alpha handguard. As you can see, we have removable sections right here. So this is all free-floating for as far as the barrel is concerned. Now, reassembly is very, very easy. Drop in like so. So now we're going to go right in from the front. Now we rotate onto the bottom here, so this will line up with the hole. We take our pin. Okay, now we're just going to slide that right into place until we hear that click, and now we're engaged. The main features of this is, again, we have a 4-position regulator. There's no tools that are necessary to make any adjustments. The system actually pulls through the gas block rather than pull in or have to separate it into 3 different pieces for removal. You have positive teeth for a locking position, continuous 360-degree rotation for adjustment, easily adjustable with gloves. It's adjustable for standard ammunition, mil-spec ammunition, as well as for underpowered ammunition by opening up the gas port, as well as opening it up for cycling during adverse conditions. The barrel, as we previously spoke, was 4150 chrome moly vanadium, 16-inch barrel with a mid-length gas system. Now, this is available in a couple different configurations. We have here a fully adjustable gas system. Also, this comes as a drop-in kit with a regulated system, similar to that of an AR-15, where you have a self-regulating system where it's not adjustable. It does have feed ramps, 1 9-inch twist, as I said, nitride in and out. It does have M4 type feed ramps. And it does come with the A2 compensator, but again, as we spoke, I put the flash suppressor on here for my silencer Go Saker 556 sound suppressor. The suppressor I use is my Saker 556. I'm very, very fond of the suppressor. I use this on a lot of different 556 rifles. It does an excellent job. Put it on like so. And you lock the locking ring. And there you have it. Now, one of the things about suppressors that you will also notice is having a suppressor overgasses the system. This is why it's important to have a gas valve where it adjusts the system. When you have a self-regulating system and you're utilizing a sound suppressor, you make the system work much faster. So say you have a cyclic rate of 900 rounds a minute. You can go up to damn near 50 to 75 rounds per minute, and in some cases more, depending on the conditions. So what that does is it speeds your system up, and it overworks your operating system. It also can throw your timing off of your extraction and ejection, so it can wreak some havoc in there by overpressurizing the system. By having a suppressed system, what that does is it reduces the gas, so it's roughly that of what you would have unsuppressed, which keeps the system working at its normal speeds. So your unlocking is at the proper time, so you're not going to have the failures to extract, eject, and so forth. But one thing you do notice with suppressors, it does not matter whether it's a direct gas or an external piston. When this is overpressured, you are blowing more residue back into the system by way of the barrel. So when your bolt locks and unlocks and extracts, you are blowing a lot more debris in the chamber area. So regardless to your gas system, you're still getting that. It's not as bad because it's not going into the inside as much. It's mostly going on the outside. So we also have on the sights, we have M-Bus Pro Magpul. And we have a optic, which unfortunately now is no longer in production. It's manufactured by DI Optical. Unfortunately, I was told by one of their former employees that the company's going under just due to financial issues, which is very much a shame due to the fact that they're excellent optics. So what we're going to go out to the range, and we're going to fire this both suppressed and unsuppressed.
What we're going to do now is Black Hills 100 grain subsonic ammunition. I'm not quite sure if it's going to cycle in this one or not, so we'll give it a try.
Overall, this system, I have to say, is excellent. I probably fired close to 2,000 rounds through it with both suppressed and unsuppressed. You'll see in one of the videos where I fired some of the subsonic ammunition as well. And even on the suppressed setting, where it lets in less gas, it still cycled without a problem. The ammunition I used was 100 grain subsonic, and unfortunately this was a 1.9-inch twist barrel, so when I went to check my targets, a bullet had hit sideways because it didn't stabilize. However, in all these rounds, 100% reliability, suppressed and unsuppressed. The only thing that I will say for running this rifle suppressed is you do need to get yourself a PRI gas buster charging handle, because on the suppressed setting, it does blow a lot of gas back into the shooter's face. So you definitely are going to need something to try to block off that back to keep that powder residue and keep that gas out of the shooter's face. Accuracy, I saw no difference between this and any other AR-15. Very, very accurate system, reliable system. I will say I do like the way this is set up. I do like having the ability to adjust without having to worry about the gas valve coming out and inadvertently releasing the gas system from the rifle. That really is a good idea. The only real criticisms that I can really give on this was I like to see this drilled and pinned, and I would like to see visual signs on here as far as your condition. Are you in 1, 2, 3, or 4th position, or have a suppressed position, an end position, and then a 1 and 2 for as far as the adverse conditions, or letting in more gas. I would like to see that. Those are the only really big criticisms that I did have for it. Reliability is certainly there. So if you're looking for an external piston, you should definitely take a look at Black Rifle Arms. I do hope to see that he does in the future do something for as far as drilling and painting the gas blocks and taking care of that. But other than that, if you look at most of the gas systems that are out there, you do have carrier tilt issues. A lot of the carriers do have skis on them that do help take care of that. But when you have metal going into an aluminum receiver extension, that metal will cut into that receiver extension. By having the polymer on the end of that, it does eliminate that. And you also have a self-lubricity to polymer where you don't have on metal. So, metal on metal, you have friction. When you have metal on polymer, you don't. You do have that, that self-lubricating property to it as well. And when the bolt carrier does impact the rear of the receiver extension, having the polymer, it does absorb some of that shock, which you normally would take with the standard carrier. So, overall, it's definitely a very well thought out design. Now, for as far as calibers are concerned, these are offered in 5.56 millimeter, 300 blackout, 7.62 by 39, 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.8 SPC, and he does also offer it now in a AR-10 platform where you'll be able to do it in 308. I haven't seen him do anything with any other calibers yet, but I mentioned that just coming down the pike. But you do have a lot of abilities for different calibers, different ammunition, suppressed, unsuppressed. And especially with the variances in ammunition. You have ammunition out there that's not necessarily NATO spec or even SAMI spec. You look at something like Wolf, where you have something that's lower than SAMI spec to begin with in a shorter barrel rifle. And then you get out into a colder condition where you even get lower pressure. Having to have this as an open position to allow more gas into it is going to make it so that particular case of ammo, you're going to still be able to shoot rather than not be able to use it at all. So it takes out a lot of the problems that come out with different types of ammunition. For those of you who don't want to mess around with this type of a system, you want to have it self-regulated, he has that too. You can buy the complete upper receiver. You can buy them in SBRs, down to the 10.5-inch barrel. You can also go with a different type of a rail system. He does have a Bravo 2 as well, a Troy, as far as the rail is concerned. And as well as you do have different rails that will accommodate this. It's not really that much oversized. It's definitely worth taking a look at if you're looking for an external piston. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share. Thank you.